There are cars that simply exist, and then there are cars that become legends. And when Japanese tuning touches these Italian legends, you get a hybrid of Italian engineering poetry and Japanese street art. All of this is embodied in two new sets from the Metamorph by Power Build collection, the Ferrari F40 and the Lamborghini Countach in Liberty Walk Edition. And I'll start with the Ferrari. A beautiful black and white box inside of which you'll find a stylish instruction manual. These boxes and instructions are so stylish that you don't even want to throw them away afterward. There's a sticker set with Power Build and Metamorph logos, a printed interior piece, two types of wide wheel arches designed to perfectly match the wide body kit and a Liberty Walk style, a new and interesting part, and the platform that I'll use to begin the build, step by step, connecting each piece together. The F40 is a national treasure of Italy. Liberty Walk is an artistic rebellion from Japan. When you combine them, the result is always discussion, debate, excitement, criticism, and inspiration. But most importantly, it's an example of how car culture evolves. How the old can coexist with the new. How a legend can be given a second life in a completely new context. A Ferrari F40 with a Liberty Walk wide body isn't tuning in the traditional sense, and it's not an attempt to make the car better. It's a reinterpretation of an icon through the lens of Japanese street culture, where respect for the original is expressed not through caution, but through boldness. No one here is trying to hide the intervention or pretend this is how the car left the factory. On the contrary, every element deliberately emphasizes it. This is a conscious, radical, and intentionally visible transformation. The original F40 was always brutally honest. It wasn't built for comfort. It didn't try to be versatile, and it never pretended to be convenient. It was a race car allowed on public roads, and that rawness is exactly what made it a legend. Liberty Walk takes that philosophy and translates it into a different cultural language, moving it from the world of factory engineers into the world of street expression. Here, the logic isn't about lap times anymore. It's about the impression the car makes when it's standing still, when it's slowly rolling down the street. When you spot it from a distance and instantly know, this is not a normal F40. The wide body completely changes how the proportions are perceived. Liberty Walk White becomes a clean canvas for signature decals. White creates maximum contrast with the deep black shadows under the wide arches. White turns the F40 into an art object. It highlights every edge, every curve, every rivet. The rivets on the fender flares aren't hidden or smoothed out. They become part of the visual language. This isn't a flaw or a shortcut. It's a direct statement. There is no desire to be neat or factory perfect. Liberty Walk builds cars as if they're in constant dialogue with the street. A little rough, a little provocative, yet incredibly precise in proportion. When you look at an F40 like this, your attention constantly moves from detail to detail. From the front, your eye catches the extremely low edge of the bumper, hovering dangerously close to the asphalt, as if the car might scrape the road at any moment. From the side, the silhouette becomes sharp and wedge-shaped, tense like a racing prototype. From the rear, The width emphasizes power without turning the car into a caricature. The rear wing remains familiar, but against the widened body, it looks even more aggressive than on the original. When a car like this appears on the street or at a show, there's always a pause around it. People don't just look, they stop. Some take photos. Some walk around it in silence. Some argue. That's a defining trait of all strong Liberty Walk projects. They don't give you an instant like. They demand time to be understood. Wheels are one of the most important elements in car tuning. And in this set, we get incredible signature wheels by Power Build. They fit this model perfectly. I absolutely love this Ferrari, even though it isn't a licensed model. The design alone deserves a like. I honestly think this is the best Ferrari F40 you can build out of bricks. Classic shapes that feel wider and more refined, thanks to the white color and the Liberty Walk body kit. I'm genuinely blown away. Now, it's time for the Lamborghini Countach. This set comes in the same beautiful black and white box, with a stylish instruction manual inside that shows how to create this masterpiece step by step. You also get a sticker set with Power Build and Metamorph logos. 2 pairs of wide wheel arches, just like on the F40 and the platform, where I'll begin the build, starting with a partially assembled red interior and then, piece by piece, connecting everything together until an icon of style is born. The Lamborghini Countach and Liberty Walk feel like a partnership that, at first glance, almost seems inevitable. If the Ferrari F40 with a Liberty Walk body kit looks like a bold reinterpretation of a sacred icon, the Countach in this style feels different. It's as if it had been waiting for this kind of intervention all along. Its sharp, angular, almost futuristic shape was radical even in factory form, and Liberty Walk doesn't break that character. It pushes it to the extreme. It makes it more modern, more muscular, turning it into something that feels like a track-focused version of a legendary supercar. The Countach was never a soft car, neither visually nor in the way it felt. Low, wide, uncomfortable, loud, difficult to drive, yet defined by a wild wedge-shaped design that became its signature. It was never a car for everyone, and that's exactly why it became an icon. Liberty Walk takes this image and cranks the contrast all the way up. Where the original was sharp, the Liberty Walk version becomes aggressive. Where there were hard lines, even tougher surfaces and more pronounced angles appear. When you look at the Liberty Walk Countach, it feels wider not only physically, but conceptually. It occupies more space around itself. It dominates. The widened arches with exposed elements don't fight the design. They extend its logic. The Countach always had a deliberately industrial aesthetic, and the rivets here don't feel provocative. They feel like a natural evolution of the idea. The front end becomes even more wedge-shaped. The low bumper, sharp horizontal lines, and minimal ground clearance amplify the blade effect. The Countach doesn't glide through space, it cuts through it. Even standing still, it looks like it's moving forward. The side profile is pure geometry, a straight roof line, angular doors, and almost architectural severity to the silhouette. Liberty Walk emphasizes this geometry, making it heavier and more massive. The car looks lower than it actually is and visually longer, as if it's being pulled forward. There's a strong 80s spirit here, but without nostalgia, more like a raw, industrial aesthetic that still feels relevant today. The rear of the Liberty Walk Countach makes an especially powerful statement. The added width amplifies the sense of strength, while the massive diffuser and widened elements make the rear feel almost monolithic. If the F40's rear reads as race-inspired, the Countach's rear feels like a fortress. It's a different kind of power, not speed, but pressure. The Countach has always looked like a concept car that accidentally made it into production. Liberty Walk brings it back to that state, but with a modern understanding of visual balance. It feels like a car from an alternate future, one where designers were never afraid of radical decisions. What's important is that the Liberty Walk Countach doesn't try to be clean. There's no attempt at museum-level perfection. It lives in the same environment as other Liberty Walk projects: street culture, car shows, nighttime parking lots, photo shoots under artificial light. It's built to be noticed, photographed, and debated. In today's automotive culture, the Liberty Walk Countach feels especially powerful because it connects three eras at once. The past, with its fearless forms, the present, with street aesthetics and custom culture, and the future, as a reminder that design can still be radical and emotional, even in an age of digital screens and sterile shapes. This is an amazing set, but the only thing I didn't like was the wheels. When installed, they were much narrower than the wheel arches and sat too far inside, which didn't look right to me. So I swapped them for awesome power build wheels with black rims, which fit the wide body perfectly and didn't ruin the Supercars' proportions. Honestly, I think it looks even better this way. What's also interesting is how a project like this changes your perception of the original. After seeing a Liberty Walk Countach, the stock Countach feels different. You start to see not only perfection in the classic, but also its potential for reinterpretation. What do you think about these sets? Which one would you want in your own collection?